Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and I would just like to say, happy 2020, everybody. Feels like nothing has really changed. Well, it might do, depending on whether or not children's violence against dick shit, whatever the fuck, it comes into effect and makes us all go to jail for 42,000 bucks. But whatever, that might be old news by the time this gets uploaded, possibly. Who knows? Either way, the point is, everything sucks and we're all gonna die. Anyway, this is Lake Placid. Can you tell what movie came out around this time that gave Crystal Dynamics such hilarious insight into a movie that I don't think most people have given a shit about since the late 90s, so... Whatever, we're gonna get off that and we're gonna get into something good. This is the secret mission, the second of which. This is Akuji the Heartless. For those of you not in the know, this is a video game developed by Crystal Dynamics right around this time, and... well, very few people can admit to have actually played in that game. I mean, I'll admit, I don't think it's a game that's really gonna blow anybody away, but... I kinda like it, man. Like, I mean, the combat itself feels very simple, and there are some parts of the level design that I don't think have really aged the best, but... still a pretty solid Crystal Dynamics game, and it kinda pains me that we never got a sequel out of it, or that, you know, we never really got any sort of continuation of the franchise. Because, I mean, for as much as you can say stuff about, you know, Pandemonium or Soul Reaver, we still got sequels out of those games. Well, more so Soul Reaver than, Pandemonium, but I mean, you know, Akuji the Heartless could have done pretty well. Yeah, but whatever. Instead, we have this little, I guess, reference. It doesn't exactly reuse any assets from Akuji the Heartless, but we do get the music, we do have Gex having his outfit as a homage, so it fits decently well enough. And it does kind of bring to mind the fact that you don't really see a lot of, like, video game cross-pollination sort of stuff as much anymore. I mean, they used to do this all the time back in the 90s and early 2000s and all that. Like, I mean, you had... I don't know, Spyro the Dragon appearing in Crash to Insanity, you had, like, the Easter egg of, like, the Precursor Orb in Uncharted. Like, they used to do that all the time, but they don't really do that much anymore, and that kinda sucks. I suppose it's possibly a remnant of the fact that video games are meant to be for serious, so they can't really afford to do that, or I guess maybe even licensing rights, like, you know, how Conker's Bad Fur Day had Banjo-Kazooie as, like, dead animal skins in the bar, like, at the main menu. I don't know, weird sort of stuff, but I still appreciate it when, you know, video games can sort of pay tribute. Like, I mean, again, I still haven't played these games for myself, but, like, I mean, it'd be cool if, like, in one of the modern Tomb Raider games you found, like, I don't know, a Gex statue or something. I mean, it'd be nice, you know, nice little reference to their past. But whatevers. To go a little bit more in depth about the level design here, though, sorry about that, I kinda had to edit around that because, things were distracting me. But anyway, I'm back. I was also gonna talk about the secret cutscene, actually. Mainly in terms of relation to the time limit, actually. While you do have plenty of time to do everything that you need to do in these secret stages, it is actually quite tight if you screw up a couple of times. You do have enough time to have at least one scroll to get everything in one go, you know, secret cutscenes, flight coins, and all. But there is also a bit of a price to that in the sense that, well, you're on the clock, don't waste too much time, and, well, you should be alright. Kind of forgot what the initial point I was making was, but, fuck it. I love this level. Again, it'd be selfish of me to want this expanded into a full thing, but, you know, it would have been fun. Also would have been interesting to have seen, like, maybe a couple of other Crystal Dynamics game references, like, I don't know, maybe a secret mission based on, like, Soul Reaver or Pandemonium. Would have been fun. Well... I guess maybe Soul Reaver was a bit too recent, and, well, I guess maybe they just didn't really have the interest in Pandemonium after the sequel. Oh well. Either way, I guess to elaborate a little bit more on what these symbols do, again, you might have seen it earlier on in the Gex Cave, like, right at the beginning of the part. But yeah, you collect those symbols to unlock, the Vault, which is basically how you're going to be unlocking, little debug modes, cheat codes, and, the ability to play as Rex and Cuz outside of the secret mission, so... yeah, interesting, and that's what you complete the bonus missions for, in order to get these little codes that you can unlock. But then again, in our day and age of the internet, you kinda don't really need that anymore, so, cheat codes away, I guess. I'll probably dive into, like, this level itself a little bit later, but can I just say that I really miss cheat codes? Like, you rarely, if ever, see them around anymore. Like, I mean, I get this is probably because of the fact that we live in a day and age of, like, you know, paid DLC where we have to, like, pay for seasons passes, which gets us, like, all sorts of perks and bonuses and shit, but, you know, all that shit was what, like, cheat codes and debug modes used to do, man, and I miss that. Actually, here's another thing I can rant about. What the hell happened to, like, unlockable skins that you can, like, unlock in the game? Like, I mean, I was actually watching the... Well, again, this is, again, timely as it fucking is. I was watching the Resident Evil 3 Remake trailer, and, like, I mean, while in Resident Evil 2 Remake you could unlock Leon and Claire's, like, well, classic outfits. Claire a little bit less so, but I'll get into that later. Well, whenever I get around to Resident Evil 2 Remake, like, 10 years down the line. Like, I mean... They made the pre-order bonus DLC was like the... Was it, Jill and Carlos's classic outfits? And that is, aggravating. You initially had all that, like, in the game itself, especially the Dreamcast version, because you have, like, all 12 different unlockable costumes. Again, cosmetic and what might seem to be, like, a very superfluous difference, but I mean, it really does kind of speak volumes to how people nickel and dime us nowadays, whereas in, you know, 20 years ago, this shit would have been with the game, so... To be honest, I feel kind of vindicated in my anger right here. Yeah, by the way, I'm not exactly sure if you can reach it over there, as you can quite clearly see. Again, I don't know if you can, like, tail kick your way over there, but I'm not sure if that spider is, something you can attack physically, or if it just goes down in one hit. Either way, it was just there to get you arbitrarily introduced to the, fly spinning power. It does work in a similar manner to how it was in Gex 1, in the sense that you just, you know, spit out some acetic, if that's the right term of phrase. Whatever, it lets you shoot out a little spitball that burns through enemies like an earth through warm butter. And in this iteration, you actually have a first-person aiming mode where you can just aim Gex's head, he'll blast away. And you need that for specific puzzles, so... Yeah, enjoy that. Enjoy your Christmas #1. Well, I mean, Christmas is technically over now, so, I have no idea what the fuck that noise is. Yeah, there is also a very... Sorry about that. There is also a very weird gimmick where you, like, ride around in a camel just for faster travel. I don't know. Get your gimmicks where you can. One thing I didn't bring up in the review, mainly because of the fact that I don't think it was really worth talking about, was the animal riding, if it can even really be called, minigame slash power-up thing. You only really do it twice, or thrice technically, with a certain minigame where you get to ride around on a crocodile. I might show that bonus mission off, but we'll see. Again, it's not really much, like, at absolute best it just has like a little bit of an attack, like a biting attack sort of thing. And we do also control an ass! Or a mule, whatever takes your fancy, in like a certain later level, but... it's just there. I will say this though, it's better than the vehicles in Crash 3. Anyway, to get a little bit more on a topic really, aside from that little fuck-up, is basically the mission structure. In a previous take of this commentary, I did actually go into a little bit of depth with this, but it was sort of a rambly mess, so I figured I might as well talk about it now. You will be seeing a lot of this level structure again, mainly because of the fact that a lot of your objectives are kind of intertwined. Like, I mean, you need to attack these... Again, I probably would remember who these creatures are if I could, like, read the mission description, but... we'll just call them Osiris people things. That's probably the wrong sort of Egyptian god, but fuck it. Yeah, you need to defeat them in order to get the path to illuminate so you can go on, you know, onto your merry way. But at the same time, though, you also need to collect these Staffs of Ra, which is what the mummies are guarding. And again, by defeating them, you get your third/second objective, depending on which one you pick. So I guess that also comes into the argument of level length and how long specific levels take. And more to the point, what exactly it does to sustain its gimmick, as I mentioned in the review. Now, for 9 times out of 10, and I think this level does a pretty good example of it in keeping the player entertained as they progress throughout the level. I mean, even if they are repeating specific sections of the level in the way that they have to unlock the thing to progress further, I think X3 does a decent job of keeping the player entertained, despite some repetition here and there. Like, I mean, while you will need to constantly go back and forth in order to explore, you know, bits and pieces to see, you know, where they need to do things and where they need to go. I guess another example would also be like with the Dracula power-up, seen in the Mystery TV section. Like, I mean, while you do need to go back through the levels at specific points, I think there's enough visual comedy and a lot of elements to interact with, like, you know... I mean, the little things with the snakes popping their heads out, or the Staffs of Ra, or... you know, the parody advertisements that I think keep the player reasonably hooked into a level, which is, I guess, sort of an interesting dichotomy between, you know, level aesthetics and, well, a bunch of trippy stuff like this, keeping the player entertained. I have no idea what the staff of Crystal Dynamics were thinking when they made this section, but hey, I will say this, it's inspired, and is part of the reason why I really like this level. I think it would have been all too easy to just go with the sort of generic, like, desert Egyptian theme. It's like, oh look, sand, yellow, and whatever. But no, I mean, like, stuff like this is trippy and weird as fuck. Seriously, man, that is just creepy, man. And it's stuff like this that I really do love to see in platformers. Like, you know, not generic grassland, snowland, whatever level tropes, but, you know, doing something interesting with them. And that, I think Gex, as the series as a whole, barring kind of the first one, but I'll probably get into that if I ever get around to re-reviewing the first game, because that review was quite out of date. But again, that probably won't be for a long time off, really. But anyway, the main point I'm trying to make here is that Gex 3 does a good job of making these otherwise stock standard tropes feel very interesting. And again, by collecting all 3 staffs of Ra, well, you unlock the exit. But we're not going to be going there just yet, because we have a certain other objective to complete, which is basically by defeating all the stuff of cat people, whatever. I don't know, Egyptian symbolism is weird, dude. One thing I will say as well is that I really love the lighting of this level, man. Like, I mean, not just for its, like, not just for, like, the orange and yellows here, like, the mixtures of blue and green as you saw earlier. I don't know, like, I mean, I mentioned this with the Mystery TV mission as well, but, like, I don't know if this game had a real complex lighting engine. Well, then again, the water effects in Mystery TV, like, around the swimming pool area, kind of have me raising an eyebrow a little bit, but I don't know, man, this stuff is kind of inspiring, and again, I'm pretty sure it's likely just painted onto the textures in and of itself, because that's how, reportedly that's how actually a lot of handheld games handle their lighting, but I don't know, if they use a similar technique for Gex 3, then, you know, more power to them, really. And lastly, well, this is the 3 Staffs of Ra mission that, yeah, we're going to be cutting ahead, since you kind of already did see the end result of the mission anyway. But I figured I might as well just reiterate it just for the sake of, well, seeing where things are for the last time. And of course to get one last glimpse of these absolutely freakish things. Like, I mean, I can't imagine being a little kid and seeing how utterly freaky those, like, statues must have been, man. Yeah, by the way, don't get too well, again, it sounds painfully obvious, but don't get too close to the mummies when they're doing their little, like, spinning animation, because, yeah, they will hurt you. And they will kill you. And they will fuck you. Satisfaction. God, I feel so fucking old referencing that. Sorry about that. Anyway. And with that, the mission is complete. So, on that note, I am Solidus-Skully, keeping new metal. I will let you watch the cutscene with Agent Extra, take a drink of the Pepsi, and I will see you dudes and dudettes later. Bye-bye.
Holy Moses, good job! Gex 1, Egyptians 0.
Yes, my Pharaoh Fawcett, I have solved the riddle of the Sphinx. Now I shall work on the riddle of the Minx. That means you, Nefertatas.
Hey, Caligula, just get me home.